Rugby World Rankings, folks, ahead of the final two rounds of the Rugby Championship 2025. And at the conclusion of the Pacific Nations Cup, Fiji lifted that trophy. How has it gone in terms of their quest to catch those top tier sides before the seedings for the World Cup are set? Can the Boks hold on to number one spot? What do they need to do? Can the All Blacks potentially take number one? We'll go through those permutations plus the outcomes of the Pacific Nations Cup and that Chilean matchup against Samoa for World Cup qualification. And you guys can let us know your thoughts on how fair or not the rankings are. Obviously, the teams which weren't in action didn't see any points exchanged. So the top 7 teams, top 8 teams, no changes. But Fiji, with their lifting of the Pacific Nations Cup, they did take 0.31 off the Japanese. So they've closed the gap ever so slightly on the Scots, who remember they beat back in the July test, as the Scots themselves were pushing for that top 6. If you remember, the top 6 are the top 6 seeds for the next World Cup. So it's better to be in this part of the whiteboard than this part. So Fiji have done their cause a bit of a bolstering there. For Japan, they were potentially looking at catching Wales, who again are in that cutoff spot in terms of being a second seed. Japan would have liked to get that Pacific Nations Cup for the trophy, but it would have also done their seedings a little bit of a boost ahead of those draw of the next World Cup. But not to be for Eddie Jones's boys. They fell 33-27. They had an early lead. Fiji scored 33 unanswered points. They had a bit of a comeback, but it wasn't enough. And Fiji, you feel like, were pretty good value for their win. So obviously they would have liked more points, but certainly beats losing. Tonga are back on the whiteboard, going up 2 spots. And I like it at the moment because you got Tonga on 6-6-6-6 and Italy on 7-7-7-7. So why one number is more special than the other, there's no reason for it, but I like looking at it. And Tonga, with their win over the Canadians, get 3rd spot in the Pacific Nations Cup. Remember, both Tonga and Canada have already qualified for the next World Cup, so 35-24 win over the Canadians. They've gone up past Uruguay and Portugal. And then in that all-important World Cup qualifying match, Samoa, who haven't qualified for the World Cup yet, they dropped some points against Chile. They drew 32-32 in a big second half comeback, the Samoans. It was looking like they were dead and buried. But World Cup qualification is still not decided between those two because there's still a second leg to come in Chile this coming weekend. So still all to do for the Chileans and the Samoans. It's 32-32 at halftime. So whoever wins the second leg goes through to the World Cup. Whoever loses is off to the repechage to take on the likes of Namibia and I think Brazil and others. So yeah. Pacific Nations Cup action is done. Still the World Cup qualification came to come. And then Rugby Championship. Can the Boks surrender number one? Only if they lose. The Boks are kind of in a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation at the minute, because they are far enough ahead of the Pumas with their home advantage that they can't take any points off the Pumas. That's what I mean, damned if you do. And if they lose it, they'll drop significantly. They'll drop at least down into second. So they'll surrender number one in the world to Ireland. And I think it'll be like a full 2-point drop at least for the Boks if they were to lose at home in Durban. For the Pumas, winning would certainly help their quest to maintain their 6th spot. It would see them close in on England, to be fair. But if they lose, and then the Wallabies were to get a record-breaking win in terms of the Eden Park record over here in NZ, then they would swap spots again. The Wallabies and Pumas have been trading 6th and 7th in recent times. The Wallabies, as I said, would love a win. The Eden Park record will probably be more important than seedings at the World Cup, but they'd get the double kind of bite at the cherry if they were to do that. For the All Blacks, they can take minimal pointage off the Wallabies if they win. The most they can take is 0.26, not even enough to catch Ireland. So the All Blacks will not be returning to number one in the world anytime soon. If the Boks win, they keep it. If the Boks lose, Ireland gets it. So New Zealand are not in that conversation at all. But the All Blacks could drop to 5th if they were to lose at home to the Wallabies. So apart from the Eden Park record, still lots to play for Razors boys. But yeah, congratulations to Fiji on winning the Pacific Nations Cup. Good luck to both Samoa and Chile in their next leg. As I said, whoever loses is not done and dusted, but they'll still have a bit of work to do. And whoever wins will be the, I think, penultimate team to join us at the Rugby World Cup in 2027. You guys let us know your thoughts on the rankings. How fair or not do you think things are? Do you also enjoy Italy's and Tonga's numbers? Next, all we need is another team to be going up onto like 8-8-8-8. That'd be nice. I don't think anyone's going to quite get to 9-9-9-9. The English women are close. They're on 97 because they are on a stupidly massive winning run. And it's hard for them to take points off anyone. They're in a similar boat, a worse boat than the Boks because they're so far ahead of everyone are the English women. They'll obviously face Canada in the final this coming weekend, which is on at the same time as the Boks and Argentina game, which is awful timing. But yeah, Canada took some big old points off the Black Ferns as well in that one. So yeah, world rankings have not been kind to the New Zealand teams in the last couple of weeks. You guys let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We'd love to push on towards 100k. Slowly getting there. But your subscription would certainly be that kind of next step in the road there. Take care, folks, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.